Hi guys, it's Miss Fontaine. Today we're going to be learning about combining like terms, which we've done a little before, and I'm sure you have some experience in middle school from doing, but we're going to have a nice focused lesson on it just to make sure we're ready for the rest of the things we're going to learn in algebra. Today is the first day that we are asynchronous, which means we are not meeting on Zoom and you are just responsible to complete some work on your own, but I will be making videos most of the time on days like this to make sure you're not completely alone and you have some guidance on what to do. So here, as always, highlight all the highlighted things, copy them into your notebook. We have the aim. I want you to write the date on the top of your page and copy these definitions into your notebook. So as I read them, you can copy them. The first definition is like terms. Like terms are terms whose variables and their exponents are the same. In other words, the terms that are alike, terms that are like each other. So we have example here, we have 7x, x, and negative 2x. So all of them have the same variable x, so they are like terms. The second example that we have says 1/3. That's another way to write a fraction on the computer or on your calculator if you had to. So we have 1/3. I'm talking about this one here. Let me show you. Right here. So 1/3 xy squared is one term that we have. We have negative 2xy squared is another term. We have 6xy squared. And we have xy squared over 2. So these are all like terms because they contain the same variables, which are x and y. They all have x and y together, and squared. They're all squared. The exponent is 2. So those are our like terms. Now down here we have the definition for unlike terms, which are terms that do not have the same variable or exponent. So we have some examples here. If I'm going too fast and you're not done copying, just pause the video and start it when you're ready. So some examples of unlike terms. We have negative 3xy, sorry, negative 3y, and 12y squared. So it says why are these unlike terms? These are all unlike terms. X, y, and y squared are all different. So even though y and y squared have the same variable, they have different exponents. So they are not like terms and they cannot be combined. You cannot perform any kind of operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division between these three terms. Whereas like terms, you can add these, you could subtract them, you can divide them, you can multiply them because they're alike. But unlike terms, you cannot combine them. So another example is on right here. These are all unlike terms because the variable and or their exponents are different. So same thing, we have 2x, 2x squared. They look similar, but they have different exponents. So we cannot combine them. Then we have 2y and 2xy. So even though there is an x and a y in the last term, the 2 is attached to two variables. So it's not like any of the other terms. So these are all unlike terms. So combining like terms, like I said, if you need to pause the video to copy, that's okay. Just start it when you're ready. Combining like terms, you can add, subtract, multiply, or divide all these terms together when they're alike. So here's an example, 7x plus x. So they are both like terms, so you can add 7x plus x equals 8x. because it says here, by the way, there's an invisible 1 in front of all the variables, and we don't write it. So we just write x. So there's an invisible 1, that's why 7, let's write our invisible 1 here. So 7 plus 1 is 8. So you can combine them because they have the same thing, same variables. So I made a little highlighted graphic organizer to show you all the terms in the pink, 3x and 6x. I want you to copy this in your notebook and use highlighters if you can. 3x plus 6x are pink so that you can see that they are like terms because they both have the same variable. Then 7 and 3 are like terms. That's why I made them green. So when we combine 3x and 6x, we get 9x because 3 plus 6 is 9. So we're adding, it's like saying 3 apples plus 6 apples are 9 apples. The x is just a variable. So 3x plus 6x is 9x. And then we have 7 with no variable and 3 with no variable. 7 plus 3 is 10. So those are like terms. And then this cannot be combined or simplified any further because they are not like terms. So that would be your answer. So copy this exactly how you see it with the arrows and highlighters. If you have highlighters, color code it so you can have an example in your notebook. Again, if you need to pause it, then go ahead and pause it. So here, we're going to do these together. We have 10a plus 2a, 10a plus 2 plus a minus 4. So 10a and a are like terms. So again, we have an invisible 1 in front of the a, right? So what's 10 plus 1 is 9. So 10a plus 1a is 9a. And then positive 2 and negative 4 are like terms. So we have 2 minus 4. Oh, I have to erase my addition sign because it's negative 2. So again, copy this in your notebook using highlighters or colored pencils, whatever you have, markers, to show the like terms so you can really see it. And then you can't simplify that any further because 9a and negative 2 are not like terms. So again, if I'm going too fast, just pause the video. So now we have 2c squared plus 1 plus 3c squared plus 1. So take a minute and look to see if you can find which ones are like terms before I highlight it. Hopefully you said 2c squared and 3c squared. Everything's positive in this example. Are like terms. So 2c squared plus 3c squared is just 5c squared because we're just adding the coefficients and bringing the variable and the exponent with us. Now positive 1 and positive 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And that is our final answer. It can't be simplified any further. So now we have these two examples in the Google form. Copy them, work it out in your notebook, and then carefully select the correct answer on the Google form. Look back at my examples and the graphic organizer that I created, and use whatever help you need, calculators. Make sure you're answering them correctly on the Google form, and that'll be your classwork for the day. See you tomorrow on Zoom.